Alrighty. So we get to the fun. We get to do fun stuff today. Yeah. Hashtag the fun stuff. Okay. But just remember that for tomorrow, if you don't have an NTC ID, that you're going to need to bring your social security number with you tomorrow so that you can get registered, so you can get free college credits at the end of the year by successfully completing this class. If we don't do this before the end of October, you lose out on that opportunity. Last year in Algebra 3, I had a student who, on the day that we signed up for classes, we had NTC come in. There'll be somebody from NTC here to help us get all registered and all that fun stuff. We had the person come in. She sat in the back of the room. She was Snapchatting because she didn't have her social security number, and she's like, "I'll get to it later." Well, it got to be May, and she hadn't done it yet, and it was too late to get her registered. And she walked up. She wanted the free credits. I couldn't give them to her because I couldn't submit her grade because she wasn't a student, and all of a sudden I'm the bad person. Which I'm fine because I just looked at her and I said, "I told you." Okay? So I'm telling you right now, tomorrow, if you don't have an NTC ID, more than likely if you've taken a blue credit class before, you've got an NTC ID. Okay? Lots of the family ed classes are dual credit. I think graph is dual credit. I think there's some business classes that are dual credit. There's us, there's retail, there's med term is dual credit. Okay. So if you've taken one of those, more than likely you've got your NTC ID. Don't worry about having it. They can look it up if you forgot what it is. Some people, like we were talking about this, because we're doing it in pre-calc too. Some people for pre-calc there's a blue card. I don't think I have any blue cards here yet because it's been a while since I've been in this room. That have your ID and stuff on it. So if you have that blue card, bring that with you too tomorrow. Okay? All right. So today we're going to be dealing with 3 different operations with polynomials. Okay? So we're going to add and subtract polynomials today, and we're going to multiply polynomials today. We're not going to do dividing yet because that's all of Unit 4. Okay? All of Unit 4 is dividing out polynomials and fun stuff, and we'll actually get into a little bit more of dividing polynomials later on, but spend the majority of the time in Unit 4 dividing out polynomials. Okay? So what we're doing today we're dealing with expressions. We're not dealing with equations. We're just dealing with expressions. So we can't solve today, okay? Because there's no equal sign. We are just combining like terms. Okay? And so how we go about combining like terms? Well, first off, you got to determine if you need the parentheses or not. Really, the only time that you need parentheses is if you're multiplying or if you're subtracting. If you're an addition problem, like this one is, because we have clearly an addition sign in between them, if you're in an addition sign, you don't need the parentheses. Okay? So we can kind of in our brain ignore them. And then I look for any other terms that are cubic terms. Okay? Not cubic, not cubic, not cubic, cubic. Okay? So I can combine those two together. If I've got 4 pencils and you take 5 pencils away from me, how many pencils do we have left? -1 pencils, right? Now, did the pencils miraculously change into markers? No, they're still pencils, right? Okay? So this would be -1 x cubed. Then, since we want all of our answers in standard form, that means we're going to go to the next biggest exponent. The next biggest exponent is x squared. We've already dealt with the green ones. X squared, not x squared, not x squared, not x squared, not x squared. So that one is just a standalone for squared. Okay. Then we go to the next biggest one. The next biggest one is just our singleton x's. We've already dealt with those two. Not a singleton x. Oh, here's a singleton x. Negative 3x minus 4x.
Negative 7x.
Negative 7x. Yep. And then lastly, we deal with our numbers. 10 plus 4. And that is all true. You're just going through, you're just combining my terms. Now, sometimes there might be a number up front of the parentheses. What would we have to do first? If there was a number up front of the parentheses. We have to multiply through first. Yep. We have to multiply through first. So I didn't see it. Yep. Right? All right. What if there's a subtraction sign in between the parentheses? Change everything after the subtraction sign in that set of parentheses. We change those, the signs, right? So this would be really like plus 4x cubed minus 6x squared minus 9x and plus 3. What about before the parenthesis, before the subtraction sign? Do those change? Nope, those stay the same. So we would have 12. I'm going to go work backwards here now. Okay. And then now we just do it just like we did before. Okay. So I'm looking for cubic terms because that's my biggest variable or my biggest exponent. 3 and 4 make
7.
7. So I got 7x cubed. I got an x squared there, and I got an x squared there. 4 and negative 6 make
Negative 2.
negative 2x squared. Then I got 7 and a negative 9. 7 and negative 9 make negative 2 again. Then I got 12 and 3. 15. Now, you may be shocked when I say this, but I have gotten, for this very problem, I have gotten this as an answer. I've gotten both of those as an answer to this problem. How? Exactly. You tell me how. They added the x's. They added all the coefficients, right? 17 minus 2 is 5. Minus 2 is 3. Plus 15 is 18. Right? Okay, so that's where they got the 18 from. How did they get the x to the 6th or x to the 5th? They added the exponent, and then so that's how they got the 6. Is they added all three of the x's together. Because really, there's an x to the first, you know, and then the other one is they forgot to get the x to the first one. Okay. All right? Don't do that. Okay? That is bad maths. Okay? Okay? I think you would actually be more shocked as to how many times I've gotten. Okay? So yeah, so this This is our answer. We can only combine like terms. We cannot combine like variables. Okay? Okay? You also need to be a little bit wary, and this is coming from, and this is coming off of an NPC. This was an old final question. Okay? I don't believe it's a question anymore on the final, but you have to be wary of how the problem is written. So we need to subtract this from this. So which part goes first? Green or red? We can just go green or red. Green goes first, okay? So it would be 3y cubed minus 2y squared plus 7. Do I need parentheses around it? Do I need parentheses around the green? Not the green. I don't need parentheses around the green, right? Because that's just the first one. First one, if I would put parentheses, would it be wrong? No. Okay, parentheses on the green is optional. But then we're subtracting the red. Do I need parentheses around the red? Yes, that is non-negotiable. I need to have parentheses around the red. Okay. Now that we've got the problem set up, please do this problem for me right now. Oh, let's see. So we've got 3y cubed, and then this is going to be minus 6y squared, and then this is going to be plus 6y, and then this is going to be plus 13. So there's really nothing else to add to 3y cubed, so that's going to stay 3y cubed. Then we move on to negative 2y squared. Well, that I got negative 2 and I got a negative 6. That gives me negative 8y squared. Then I got a y. I got a plus 6y right there with nothing else. And then I got a 7 plus 13 is plus 20. Do we all agree with 3y cubed minus 8y squared plus 6y plus 20? Good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Newberger. She is phenomenal at what she does. Yeah, you can call her Old Cheeseburger, too. Or Old Hot Dog is what they were calling her last year. Yeah. Right, good one now? All right. I think we're moving on to multiplication. Oh, yeah. Okay? So we're moving on to multiplication. Now, back in my day, okay, I can say that because I've been teaching for a lot longer than you've been alive. Okay? Okay? So back in my day, we learned how to do these first ones by a method called FOIL. Okay? We took the first parts and we multiplied them together. We took the outside parts and we multiplied them together. We took the inside parts and we multiplied them together. We took the last parts and we multiplied them together. And then about 12, 13 years ago-ish, the mathematics teachers all got together, across the world, and we said, no, let's change that from FOIL because that's too easy. Let's change that to something called double distribution. And I was like a little skeptical at first, but then I realized on the second problem that's up here that makes more sense. Okay? Because double distribution is what it is. So what we need to do is we need to distribute every part of one of the factors into every part of the other factor. Okay? So what I mean by that is this 3x here has to get multiplied into that 3x and multiplied into that minus 4. Okay? And I write this out as, so 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Okay. Then we need to take this positive 4. Actually, hold on. Let's move this down just a little bit. Give ourselves a little space to work here. Okay. Then this positive 4 needs to also be multiplied in to both of those parts. Well, that would give me positive 12x minus 16. Now notice how I wrote them. Okay? I wrote them nice and pretty and lined up, and because what I'm going to do then is I am going to add those two columns, or those two rows, together. 9x squared is 9x squared. Negative 12x plus 12x is 0. It goes away. And 0 minus 16 is negative 16. So there. Whoa, there's a part right there. Yeah, there is our answer. Now, this helps out, that method helps out for when we have a binomial times a trinomial or a trinomial times a trinomial. We are in college level math. We are not going to limit ourselves to binomial times a binomial like we just did. Okay? We'll go try times try times quad. You know, we'll expand, we'll really expand the space because that's just what we do. Okay? But it's all done the same way. First one gets multiplied in to all of those. So that would be 6x cubed plus 6x squared plus 10x. Oops, and I wrote it too close again. Luckily, I have the power to move relatively easy. Then I take the positive 3 and I multiply it in to all 3 of them. 9x squared plus 9x plus 15. Add them together. 6x cubed, 15x squared, 19x, 15. It is also very helpful if you, because you're going to be doing some work on some of these problems, that you box your answer or, you know, put your answer somewhere out where it's seen, where it's able to be seen. Questions on any of that so far? Love it. The problem with multiplying polynomials is that you can only multiply 2 of them at a time. Okay? You can't multiply 3. We can add and subtract as many polynomials as we want to. Okay? That doesn't matter. But when we're multiplying, we only can do 2 at a time. Okay? With that being said, please find me what the final product of x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x plus 2 is. Did we do the left 2 first? Did we do the right 2 first? Or did we do the outsides first?
Right 2.
Right 2? Right 2 left. So it doesn't matter. In the end, we should all get this. Right? So however we started, if you did left 2 first, that's fine. If you did the right 2 first, that's fine. If you did the outsides first, that's fine. Okay? But then in the end, after that second round of multiplication, you should all be the same. Good. Okay. All right. I'm going to do the right 2 first. So I got x minus 1 here times, then that's going to be, so I've got x minus 1 times x plus 2. So that's going to be x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2 gives me x squared plus x minus 2. Then I'm going to take this x and I'm going to multiply it in. That's going to give me x cubed plus x squared minus 2x. Then taking this negative 1, it's going to be negative x squared minus x plus 2. So I get a final answer here of x cubed. The x squareds go away, minus 3x plus 2. Yes? So that should be our final answer, no matter what order we did it. Okay? So if I tell you that y cubed is y times y times y, and I say then x plus 2 quantity cubed, the classic thing, or even, I'll be honest with you, even if we would have wrote it like this, if we would have totally changed the problem, I've seen this a lot. When it's squared, well, that's just x squared plus 4. Because you just square the first part, you just square the second part. And nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? That is bad maths. Okay? Because x squared is x times x. Or y squared is y times y. So this one in black here is really times x times 2 times x plus 2. Okay? That's what that one really is. Okay? And then we got to do our double distribution. Okay? Over here in blue, this is really x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay? I don't get to just cube the two terms and move on with my life. Okay? Sometimes math is not that easy. Okay? So, with that being said, please do this problem, the blue problem. So then we've got over here, we're going to have x plus 2 times x plus 2. So then that's going to be x squared. That's going to be 2x. That's going to be 2x. That's going to be 4. So all told, we get, okay? So it is not just x squared plus 4 when I square something. Okay? It's different. We gotta get that extra term in there. X squared plus 4x plus 4, which is kind of a big deal right there. Okay? Right? Then now we can go. We can take our x and we can distribute that in, and I get x cubed plus 4x squared plus 4x. Then we can take our 2, we can distribute that in there, and I get 2x squared plus 8x plus 8. And then all told, we get x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8. Yes? Awesome. Okay. Right? So you have this week's homework. I want to say it was pink. No, purple. Purple this week. Purple this week. Okay. So front side is like 6 end behavior type ones from yesterday. Back side, the bottom, and then the back side. There's 6 on the back or 8 on the back. 8 on the back. Yeah. From our work this week, and then what we just did today. Okay, that worksheet is due tomorrow. Tomorrow, 2 things that we're going to accomplish in class tomorrow. Well, let's go 3 things. 1, your homework is due tomorrow. Okay, so that's 1. 2, we're going to sign up for NTC class tomorrow. And 3, we're going to take a short quiz tomorrow. Okay, we're going to take a quiz tomorrow in class 2 for the second half of class.
These two are